Hi, Nikki. Once again, I am recording on my photo booth app. But let's go over those events. So, the in person event that I did, a few of us, Esmeralda, Sitlali, um, Kat, and I, we all went to the Laugh Factory for Latino joke night. It was awesome. It was so funny. It was at the Laugh Factory. I think it was down near Ravenswood. I don't really remember the exact location of it. I could Google it. I'll maybe put it in the comments of this video for you. But it was really, really cool. Very, very chill kind of vibe. When you first walked in, the lobby was super, it wasn't super dark, but it was kind of like one of those vintage kinds of theaters. So, it's the ones with the red velvet carpeting and the big drapes. But you walk in, and then there's a big, a podium to the left where you get your tickets, and then on the right there's a full bar. It was really fancy looking and really, really cool. So really nice vibe of the event. But then you get into in front of the stage, and it's a little bit hard to see, but there are chairs everywhere, tables everywhere. And so it's a really nice communal vibe too, to just be able to sit down and really just watch a show with other people, kind of like a movie theater, but it was so much better. So the event began by this dude coming on stage and kind of introducing himself, introducing what he did. And he said he was just really excited to be working with all of these other people that were alongside him, which I think was really, really great, because usually when you go to a show or you go to some sort of event, it's always about that one person in the beginning. But he made it about all of them as a community, which I thought was really great. In the ending, he did that again. He was let's give it up for X, Y, and Z. There were maybe 9 other performers other than him, 9 other comedians that night. As for the individual speakers themselves, they each had, obviously it was a Latino night, so all the people who came on stage were Latina or Latino, and so they all had a very shared common experience, which made it really funny to watch how each and every single one of them kind of interacted with that identity differently, and that was really cool. All of them were very prepared. They knew exactly what they were going to do. They knew exactly how they were going to go through the joke. They knew exactly which jokes they were going to tell when. And you could tell that they definitely practiced. They were definitely listening to the audience to kind of gauge which joke to put the most emphasis on in their set. And I really admired how they were able to improve on their own public speaking skills and styles on the dime like that. That was really impressive to me. Their speaking styles really varied. The first performer who came on, I think his name was Kevin, but he came on and he was really excited and enthusiastic and really great about it. And then towards the middle of the show, there was a woman who came on, and her entire comedy was just very much more laid back. She kind of gave her jokes deadpan and let the silence carry out the timing, and that was really funny to me. Hers was my favorite set, actually. They did not use notes, but a lot of their body language was very casual. Hand gestures were usually pretty casual. Pretty good eye contact. You could definitely tell every single person who came on the stage had one person in the audience or a few people in the audience that they would continuously make eye contact with. So you could tell they were looking around the room. They were engaging with their audience in a really professional kind of way. As for delivery methods, each person had their own way of delivering a joke. So each person was kind of funny in their own way. They were telling similar jokes, but the way that they did it was so different, it was almost refreshing. It never got old, even though it was a theme night. So they did a really good job with that. Inflection and tone and emotion in voice was off the charts for most of them. Again, the woman in the middle of the set was really just monotone. She spoke like this, and she said funny things, but she let the silence carry out the comedic timing, and it was just, she did it so well that if she had inflection in her voice, I don't think her jokes would have been half as good. there was definitely a speaker that stood out, and it was not for a good reason. Probably the second speaker that came on after Kevin, he was just this awkward looking dude, which is totally fine, like do your thing. But here's this awkward looking dude who came up there and he made like a series of penis jokes just right off the bat, completely out of nowhere, joked about his genitalia on stage, which like, hey, it's a comedy night. I'm an adult. I think like that can be funny. But the way that he did it was just not, it was crass and not in a funny way. It was just like, oh, you're talking about that to so many people. Like that's a little too, I feel like a little too intrusive in your life right now. So that was kind of awkward. But the purpose of this event was really just to like get a group of people who all had like a shared common experience together to laugh about their shared common experience, which like I am not Latina at all. But I do speak Spanish, so being there was kind of funny for me, like being able to understand some of the jokes. And like Citlali, Kat, and Esmeralda all got the jokes for them, like they got most of the jokes, more jokes than I did. So seeing them like and having them explain jokes to me afterwards was a really cool experience as well. What worked and what didn't work? Again, like I think everyone did a really good job of sticking to their guns and sticking to like what they knew they were good at and what they knew they could do. And that was really impressive. What didn't work was definitely that second guy. I think when you try too hard to be funny in front of other people to the point of self-deprecation, it can just make everyone else really, really awkward. And so I think sticking with what's comfortable to you and being who you are really comes across as much more genuine to other people. So that's something that I definitely learned as well. Pacing was phenomenal for the most part. Again, timing was great. Their comedic timing was awesome the entire time. Overall vibe, feeling was really great. It was good to see people like come together as like not totally a community because people didn't really know each other, but they definitely came together like having that background of being Latino or being Latina, and like making these jokes together. And it was really great to just be like in the presence of that, not like specifically like in that community for me and my like personal space in that, but it was really great to kind of just be able to be in that space and have friends who were also there as well. So what did I take from the class and experience in this event? Definitely understood better like the timing of things. It was so much easier to kind of wrap my head around what it really took to public speak in that sort of environment and how much effort that really goes into putting on a show that way. And I definitely think it would have been a lot more, like it would have been a little bit more fun not knowing the mechanics behind that going into this. But it was definitely cool to like have insight on, oh, that's why they're standing the way they're standing, or maybe they should XYZ, or like he's pacing around a lot. I probably wouldn't have noticed so much pacing if it weren't for this class. So I think that was definitely really cool. But yeah, that was my first event at the Laugh Factory here in Chicago. It was really, really awesome. Again, so the second event that I went to was online. It was actually one of Doja Cat's live streams, which I thought was pretty fun and kind of funny. But it was online on her Instagram story a couple weeks ago. But the vibe was super, super casual. She was actually in a vacation house, just talking to her phone in front of the pool, or like in the pool actually the whole time. And so the event kind of began with like her talking about her day. She kind of like went through like what she did that day, like what she ate for breakfast, that sort of thing. It was actually really, really boring in the way that she executed it. But she's just so quirky and weird sometimes that it's almost worth watching. Like what I noticed about her, Doja Cat specifically is whenever she does like live streams, she's always very strange. She never she rarely finishes a thought, or she'll like bounce from one subject to another, which makes it kind of hard to follow. But again, because it's not a professional setting, because it's not a professional set up event, I don't think she had a lot of like the public speaking techniques on her mind, especially because she was just trying to do something that was fun for her. And so what mattered was completely on her terms. She was not prepared in that she didn't prepare anything. She kind of just went through, was swimming on like a little floaty at one point, and then she came and talked to the camera again, replied to a lot of people in the comments of like, how was your day? Or she does a lot of like random requests sometimes. Like there was one time she was in chainmail and recited lyrics from a song while wearing chainmail on her live. Like she does weird things, and I think it's like completely unnecessary and super interesting and funny to watch. She did not use notes. Her speaking style was completely chaotic. It was just complete chaos. The way that she bounced between subjects, she had like lots and lots and lots of hand gestures everywhere. Got distracted by people in the comments quite frequently, got distracted by things in the background quite frequently. So it was very chaotic the way that she kind of like moved through the space that she was in. Body language, again, very laid back, very comfortable in her element because she's on vacation in a vacation house and she's like a millionaire. Hand gestures, I just kind of went over that. Eye contact, there were lots of times where she had eye contact with the camera, but for the most part, she kind of was just like doing her own thing. She would look at the camera or make eye contact when she was speaking directly to someone in the comments or when she was answering a question. But for the most part, when she was rambling, she was just rambling to no one, rambling into the void. That is the internet. Her delivery method was, again, complete chaos. So I think the thing that I really got from this online live event wasn't so much the techniques that she displayed like through public speaking, but it was more all the different avenues that public speaking can have. Like she was talking to millions of people on a live stream through the internet, and she's able to do so comfortably. She's able to do so like so chaotically and without a care as to like who's going to judge her for being who she is, and I think that was really cool. So she definitely stood out for that reason. No theme to the event, just kind of fun. Purpose of the event was to connect with fans, to, I think, increase relatability, talk about what she's working on, talk about her day, talk about what she ate for breakfast. She did not recite any lyrics in chainmail this time, unfortunately, but there's always another chance. So what worked and what didn't? I think what really worked with her was her delivery is always so casual. It's like she's speaking right to you, and that makes you feel really involved with her as a fan, which is awesome. As for what can be improved, or what didn't work and could be improved, she was very, very spacey the whole time. She did not have an agenda. She was not prepared. She did not have notes. But at the end of the day, I think like public speaking isn't just speeches. Public speaking doesn't always have to be non-conversational. And I think like through your class, it really helped me feel more comfortable speaking to other people, which is going to help me be more comfortable speaking with other people on a large scale. So I think that is exactly what I got from Doja Cat's live stream, is she's talking to millions of people and not using any of these techniques and being completely weird about it. But also, on the other hand, she's still connecting with her fan base in a way that's meaningful and in a way that is impactful. And I think that's what public speaking is all about, in the end anyway, you know? So overall vibe, super casual, super weird, kind of crazy, a little chaotic, but it was really, really fun. And I think that's another thing that I've taken from this class and experienced in this event is public speaking absolutely can be fun. It doesn't always have to be something super, super scary. So for the final segment, talking about my experience this semester in public speaking, I really, really, really loved this semester. It was so much fun. I think, as always, you did a really good job of bringing people together. I know this class was really divided at first, and honestly, towards the end, still kind of was. But I think you did a really good job of helping us, realize we're all in this together, and that it wasn't so scary after the first couple tries of, doing speeches or doing weird things together. I think the karaoke event definitely brought us all together. And so that's what I really loved about this class, is it was community-based. What I didn't like, I don't really know. There is not one specific thing that I didn't like about this class. If anything, it was probably, I don't have something that I did not like about this class, in the class structure, in the teaching, in any of the videos that you had us show, and any of the activities that you had us to do. There was not one time where I was like, ugh, are you freaking kidding me? I walked into class every day and had a really good time. As for what stuck out to me, I think the effort that you put into making public speaking accessible for everyone and something that everyone could do, your effort in that was absolutely at the forefront of everything that you did. And I really do appreciate that about you and all of the classes that I've had with you, is you make learning about it fun. You make learning about it easy. Not that it's an easy subject and not that it's an easy thing to do, because it takes a lot of work and it's really hard, but you make it easy for us to want to do this, which is something a lot of professors don't do. A lot of professors make us dread coming to class and sitting through lectures, but I think having a fun class teach a really difficult subject really works, and it works really, really well. Something that I learned that surprised me, I don't know, I've always been a pretty confident speaker. I think what really surprised me was the potential that I had to be a good speaker, using techniques. I always kind of just relied on my confidence, or relied on some of the skills that I naturally have, as opposed to really developing the techniques that come with public speaking. And so I think what really surprised me was I have all this potential that I hadn't been touching, because I just assumed what I was good at originally was as good as it was going to get. And so thank you so much for kind of opening that door into, well, here's what you can do to improve. That was really helpful. What would I have liked to know more about? I really would have liked to know more about the psychology behind public speaking, and why certain things make a speech good. But again, I think that's more of a psychology class than it is a public speaking class. But that was just something that I was kind of thinking about the whole time, was okay, well, why does this make me more credible? Or, well, why does this make me X, Y, or Z? Why does this make me sound better? And why is sounding better a good thing? Just psychologically, not practically. You did a good job practically. That was really helpful. What will I take from this class and use in the world outside the classroom? I definitely think seeing myself as a person who is capable of changing minds and agreeing with people at the same time is something that I'm going to use outside this classroom. I think coming at people from a position of yes and, or improving life, is really going to help me, especially with what I want to do in the future with politics. It's not always about being right or shutting people down. What I've learned in this class is it's about meeting people where they're at and seeing if you can take them further. Through public speaking or through action, both probably work really well in tandem. But I think out of everything I learned this year, or this semester in this class, it's about meeting people where they're at. And public speaking doesn't always have to be a top-down process. We can do it together. It can be a conversation.